Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of Faux Pods with Lola. So this week, first things first, I realized last video that I did, my intro video, which you can go back and check out if this is the first one you're seeing. I realized that at the end I gave shout outs to some of the other content creators that I really like. And sadly, I left out a whole bunch of actually the ones that I watch more often than the other ones that I shouted out. I just panicked. So I want to give a shout out to Brian Young, great financial advice, especially on crypto. Check him out. D'Angelo Wallace, I love his take on things. He's hilarious, and he seems like a best friend of mine in high school that always just cut through the bullshit and just would speak the truth. Charlotte Dobre, I love her. I think she's fun and interesting and authentic. Sloan gives me really good tea on the Free Britney movement and kind of exposing, kind of the dark underbelly of child stars and, that kind of stuff. So check him out. Observe, I love Observe. All about reading body language and determining if someone's being truthful with you, which is fascinating. Lee Harris is a wonderful metaphysical. He gives like updates on what's going on with the planet on a metaphysical level. So if that interests you at all, or if you're just kind of new to it, he's a great resource. Very easy to understand. Lovely speaking. He's comforting to hear. Love him. Off Camera with Sam Jones. That's another series. It's actually a paid site, but he gives little like blurbs on YouTube. So I'll just kind of go down a rabbit hole of like little snippets from. He's a good interviewer. He gives a good interview. And Stephen Gardner. He's another financial information guy. He's just very sweet. I like the cut of his jib. So check him out. And then I just found Smokey Glow. I think she's great. I think she's got same thing, like authentic, interesting, genuine, if you will. So yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out. Go check all of those creators out. They're great. So as far as this week for myself, I was going to do a tribute to one of my all-time favorite artists, and I kind of wrangled with the idea for a little while, and I kept just seeing different, videos being put out about cancel culture and about how a lot of the movies from back in the day were just like they're problematic now. Like the younger generations just can't relate. They don't want to because they're just not in the same vein as our society is now, which I totally get. But the person that I really wanted to dive into, because I've been a lifelong fan and he's shaped my whole life, another very comforting person, and that is Steve Martin. So I read his book, Born Standing Up. It's not hot off the presses. It came out in 2007, but it is well worth the read if you are into stand-up comedy, which I certainly am, and just, knowing what it takes. Like he talks about his early career, and, so I read that book, and, considering so many movies of his that are seminal movies for me, that coincides with a couple weeks later, I came across this way cute little journal, and it's "We are the movies and the movies are us" is what it says on the outside, and then it's got these really rad quotes and stuff. You can make like production notes and stuff like that. So I snagged it at the dang old 99-cent store. Love that place. And then I was thumbing through it, and I came across this quote by Mary Shimk. I think I'm saying that correctly. And it's, "You can map your life through your favorite movies and no two people's maps will be the same." And I thought that was like, I was like, ooh, what would my movie roadmap be? Like, what would that be? And so then it kind of coincided with Steve Martin, because he's, at least 8 movies in there that were pivotal at that time in my life. So then, I started thinking about it and realized that, like I said, a lot of those movies were a little cancel-y, a little problematic. So then I was like, well, maybe more of a relevant topic would be kind of an alternative that I have to that. And I know there's a lot of people that they're going to be mad at me for saying this, and they're completely entitled to their opinion. And I'm not, I'll get into it. So then I was thinking about it, and it starts from a long time ago, myself realizing that if you have open wounds, they will control you. Meaning, if you have had some type of abuse in the past and you just kind of buried it or had to like compartmentalize and just move on, but that still is there, and every time you see someone being abused or hear of it or whatever, you start freaking out basically, or having some adverse reaction, that means that there's some healing to do. And that's just, it's a concept I think across the board for, like psychology, psychiatry, so I started understanding that concept and kind of healing my stuff and just kind of getting to the bottom of all my things that, upset me. Because if you have a big open wound, you're controllable. So keep that in mind. So along with that, so I had a dream book when I was young, and it was like a dream dictionary. So it would tell you if you dream of your teeth falling out, this is what happened. This is what that can correlate to. And throughout the book, and just like the other book I had, there was little interstitials of Jungian philosophy, which, excuse me, the Jung philosophy is that, everything goes back to your parents. Same with Freud. Like Freud and Jung, I think maybe I'm getting them switched, but like their philosophies were that everything that is wrong with you now is because of something that happened when you were a kid, or something traumatic that, just got stuck in there, especially, sexual fetishes and stuff like that. So that's a whole other topic. It's fascinating stuff. But in that book, I read the quote that which you dislike in others, you dislike in yourself. So that kind of coincides with what I was talking about with the wounds, right? So it's a bitter, hard pill to swallow, because if you think about all the people that you find just, triggering, or, just they enrage you, or they've done something that you feel betrayed, or you feel like, they're just not a worthwhile person because of something that they did or said, that means that you yourself are guilty of the same thing. I know. Which could be total bullshit, but in my experience, and I've had so many instances where I just flew off the handle because of what someone said or did. Just no thought, just boom, reaction, freaking out, yelling, throwing things. And that's not bad in any way. Your feelings are your children, you gotta love them, but you don't want to let them drive the car. So I think someone else said that. I can't remember who said that. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. But anyway, that's, so if you think about that, thinking about cancel culture, that might be why it's such a tough subject and why it's such a back and forth for people. So I've had years to work on that. I've had years of, I'm saying, like, I found out that philosophy and I was thinking about that when I was 18, and I'm now 39. So I've had, like 20 years almost or thereabouts of time to work on that and to hone my triggers into, I can jump into this and see what this is for me, like why this is why I'm feeling this way, like so strongly. And because of that, I can then restore, rebuild, and remake myself into the kind of person that knows that about themselves, but isn't getting thrown around the room, metaphorically, or even physically, in reality, by something that all you have, like it's a process, but just looking at it honestly and trying to transmute it into something that is positive. So in that way, it's like a restoration project. So if you'll indulge, I would like to see cancel culture be kind of rearranged, kind of reconfigured, and maybe turn it into more of a restoration culture. So in that, when you look at someone, hot button person, so Jeffree Star has talked about a lot. He's like a Disney villain, like a racist Disney villain at this point. Everybody's still, I think the people who are fans really had a hard time with believing what came out about him, just because. So just from my perspective, I found his videos at a time when I was super alone. I felt super alone. I felt like I was kind of cut. I mean, I think it was right at the beginning of quarantine. And I saw his, videos started coming through my feed. And so I was like, oh, he's interesting. And then it occurred to me, he had friended me on MySpace back in the day. MySpace. Yeah. Yeah. Now we're dating it. Now we're getting to the real bedrock of this. No, I'm just kidding. It was a while ago. But he had friended me, and I remember, and I had purchased his CD when it came out, even, so come to find out, I was like, oh my God, it's the same dude, so it was kind of like a little nostalgia for me. And so then, I love anyone who feels disenfranchised in the world. I feel like, because I feel disenfranchised, like we were talking about that. What you see in others, you see in yourself. So, I really do support his glamour, his no fucks given, his queer with an edge kind of, like he was dating before that straight person, and like all this stuff that he seemed very groundbreaking to me. And, he's, even though he is making lots and lots of money, he's still an independent brand. He's still, he appealed to me in a lot of ways. So I watched a lot of his videos, if not all of his videos, in like a month or two. I just would hit, 2 or 3 a night. And I felt like he was my friend. And that's that, there's a term for it, I can't remember, but where you feel like the people that you watch on YouTube are your friends. So in that way, yeah, I definitely was, all in. And then, the stuff started coming out. And, it was like, I at first I was like, yeah, okay, hold on. I've done that before. I have definitely been shitty to someone and said something awful that I really shouldn't have said. And, if you look at people throughout history, only with like the last 10, maybe 15 years of having video evidence around every corner, I don't think anyone would survive. I don't think any celebrity, anyone that's in the public eye, everyone has shit that they're not proud of. And because of that, and I know that I'm not defending anyone. I'm just saying, he is still all of the positive things, even though he's the negative things too. So for me, I took a minute and I didn't automatically cancel him because, like I said, I've had time to work on the triggers, and I've had time. I know the Jungian principle and like all that stuff. So I just kind of took a step back and went, okay, wait, okay, what does this mean? Like where is this coming from? Why would he say or do things like that? And, for whatever it's worth, for, like I don't still stan him necessarily, because I feel like the times that he was supposed to come out and pour his heart out and apologize, it didn't really seem like it was from his heart. It seemed like it was from his wallet maybe, or from, his pride or something like that. And that hurt, because here I was defending him to people, like not a lot of people, just like, my daughter and, just certain people that I was like, I don't know. I just need more information before I just go, oh, he's a piece of shit. Goodbye. So, and I'm like that with everybody. But yeah, so then, fast forward to now, and on the converse, there's kind of the opposite, who is Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp wasn't a beloved figure. Everyone loves Johnny Depp, whether you love him or hate him, you still respect that he's a very interesting character actor, and he's been around a long time. He's been in the industry a long time when a lot of his peers fell off. And then the Amber Heard scandal happened, and everyone was like, oh, fuck that guy, he's a wife beater, and then it came out later that actually she was the one, manipulating. And that's just the narrative. Who knows what really happened? We don't really know. We weren't there. We didn't see it with our own eye holes. And even if we had, we would all probably have a different account, because that's how it is, different perspectives, different, So, so those are kind of two sides of the same type of, something came out that is unpleasing to me, therefore I cannot afford you any more time and attention. And if that's how you feel, that is 100% okay. Like, feel your feelings. You're entitled. You can do whatever you want to do and support whoever you want to support. And yeah, racism is ugly and nasty and disgusting, and we're working on getting rid of it. I don't know if it'll ever be completely, to be honest, but to the point where it's the exception, not the rule. And I've 100% feel like we're in that direction. It's still going to take some time. But anyone who says or does racist things, I don't think, Sarah Silverman in one of her podcasts, and I totally align with this sentiment, and that's kind of what I'm saying now. She said that, the people that offend you and you chastise and bark at and say, no, how dare you, that's bad, they go right back to what they were doing. They go right back to the same echo chamber where it's okay to say and do that stuff, and they are none the wiser because they're expecting that. They know what the conventions are now. They know cancel culture, woke culture, they know all that stuff. So that's their way of rebelling, or that's really how they feel. So instead of knee-jerk reacting, ask some questions. Ask yourself questions. Have a conversation rather than, and it is offensive and it is like shocking, and it feels like an attack when someone says or does something that is the opposite of what you would do, or in a malicious way. And it's not good. It is not good. But at the same time, if you look at someone and you try to base your estimation of them on what other people say, or what other people how other people say or feel, then I feel like you are easily controlled, just like by those wounds that are open, because that's what it is. So I think in that way, our way of being as a society now, and I use the word trajectory a lot, but that's what it is. Like the way that we're headed now, I think it's very polarizing. It's a very polarizing time. Just like I said, my roadmap movies are special to me. They're dear to me because, just like with the Jeffree Star example, or I needed those at that time. I needed them, and they helped me through a tough time. Does that make them 100% perfect? Does that make it okay for, off-color jokes, or for misogyny, or for, any kind of made light sexual misconduct of any kind? No, of course not. But at the same time, that's not what I got out of that movie, So, like I said, this is a very controversial thing to say, because I think most people don't want to hear the opposite of their stance on something, obviously. And all I am saying is, I very respectfully am just submitting this for your consideration, and just ask yourself, where would you start in a scenario like that? It's nice for me. It's all well and good for me to have like this wonderful platitude, but it's just asking yourself, if you feel yourself getting worked up about something, trying to have the presence of mind, just setting an intention. I set intentions all the time. It's one of my favorite things. I'd say it's my intent to notice when I am triggered, and to, be able to understand. And then next time that someone says something and I just want to like punch them in the face, I go, wait, what does this mean? Where is that coming from? And then something will pop into my head, like a time where someone said that to me and it was really embarrassing socially, or it was, so it's always a little landmine that's in your heart and in your brain, that if you don't work to dig it out and get rid of it, it's always going to cause problems for you. And for the other person, most people that say and do things that are inflammatory on purpose, they don't really care, and if you look at it like that, that's how you can kind of win in that situation. So, just based off my own personal experience, that's just something that I think we can benefit from, having a restoration culture rather than just a knock it down, cancel it, it's done kind of a, because at the end of the day, we all deserve a livelihood. We all deserve a chance to make ends meet. This is, in America, that is our vibe. We are bound by nothing but ourselves to make a go of it, to, make the next, Wonder Bread, or, Zipper, or whatever that makes us millions, and that we can do whatever with manifest destiny, So in that way, just because someone's in the public eye doesn't mean that should be revoked. However, that is something that there needs to be some type of comeuppance, some type of leveling of the score, because it is shitty to pull punches on someone and, you know, have an apology video and be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And then just do the exact same thing in a couple of weeks. Or, you know, and like I said, the media, you got to take a step back and just think for yourself for a few minutes instead of just believe every news story that you hear, and just feel it out, you know, and feel what the person's intention was, you know. But, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. That's a saying for a reason. And usually if someone has something really negative that comes out about them, it's because they've been doing it for a while, or because they are unrepentant about it. They don't care that they've been doing it. So, yeah. So without knowing exactly what happened to someone in the moment that they said or did something that was horrible, without knowing where that came from for them to think that it was okay to do that, without, you know, because we don't know that stuff. We probably won't ever know for real. Like for whatever, you know, whatever it's worth, we won't know that. So, you know, for us as a culture, just individually, because if we change on an individual level, that means the whole culture changes, right? So that's where, in my opinion, we gotta do the most work, is just kind of look inside and go, wait, why am I so concerned with this? You know, but like I said, if you feel like it's not a good thing, it's not a good thing for you, and that's okay. Walk away. No harm, no foul, you know. But at the same time, in order for us to rebuild and to be better as, you know, as a humanity, as, you know, just kind of mature and grow past the kind of polarity of right and wrong, yes and no, you know, like, yes, there are definitive facts, yes, there are definitive things, but that changes from person to person, doesn't it? Like when you look at the sky, you're like, oh, that's like a light aqua blue, you know, and someone's like, what are you talking about? It's gray, you know. So that's what I'm talking about. There are preconceived ideas that are, yes, that's good, no, you know, positive, yes, that's, you know, no, that's negative, that kind of thing. Positive and negative rather than right and wrong, I think is the way that I look at things. Is that a positive thing or is that a negative? Is that going to impact me positively or is it going to impact me negatively? And if the answer is negative, yeah, just cut it out. You know, there's no point. But like I said, just have your own mind about it. Just think critically about it on your own, and surmise if that's something that's a deal breaker for you, rather than just be like, that person over there said that happened, so therefore I can no longer, you know. That's all I mean, you know, is just to kind of take a step back and you know, it's like with any relationship that goes sour, you don't, for me, in my life, I try to glean the good stuff and remember the good stuff over the negative stuff. So I do that, you know, with maybe content creators or people that, you know, I go, you know, you helped me through a tough time, so I hope you come back. You know, I hope that you come back from this. And I do, you know, I really do. I hope everybody that kind of falls off the horse of popularity, I guess, I don't know, that's not really the right term, but like the feeling like they're contributing good things in the world and that they're a positive person, and they're, you know, when that gets threatened or when that gets called out, it doesn't feel good, you know. So I hope that they get to back to a place where they themselves feel good and are making positive choices in their lives, and making a positive impact in their communities and all that stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's really what anyone would pull for. That's really what I pull for, you know. So as far as you know, a ramification on the platform side, like, you know, if someone's tweeting out horribly negative stuff, like they should just, like, you know, in the instance where, you know, former President Trump he got it revoked. Like he's not allowed to do that anymore because of the, you know, kind of really negatively, it played out very negatively for like a lot of people. So they're like, okay, well, that goes against our community guidelines or whatever, you know. So I think there should be a mandatory probation period. However, if there is multiple sources that are concurring, or, you know, what's that word? Not corroborating, that are like where you make it, like you say, yes, this happened. You're confirming. There's multiple sources that confirm something that, you know, is brought to the attention of society or the community or whatever, and they own up to it or whatever, then there should be a probation period, in my opinion, where you're not allowed to be on here right now. Like, no apology video, no nothing. Just stop, take a step back, and really, like I said, evaluate what you want to do here on your channel and in your life, basically, you know. So in the same way, you know, or just get get a timeout just for a while, but not a timeout like, oh, you know, like like a real one. And that happens to some degree, but at the same time, I don't think it feels like the most that can be done. So therefore people are angry about it, and therefore it kind of gets pushed over into a corner, and then a month later they're, you know, back doing, you know, and it's not everybody. There are people that just kind of disappear and they're like, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving for a while, and they stay away. And, you know, maybe having that time is what really helps them to come back later. But as always, you know, like, let me know, what do you think? I would say that I welcome any viewpoint on this. Like I said, this is just how I have reconciled things with myself, and where I hope my opinion is, and my hopes are for our society, so that we can just kind of help bring everybody that's willing to change with the forward movement that our society is having right now, and just kind of let go of all the negative stuff as much as we can, and just focus on the positive and move forward. That's why you know, that's at the basis of all this. But just let me know, what are your thoughts? What do you do? Does that seem like a plausible thing? Do you think that that's way off base? You know, just let me know. And also, yeah, so I totally plan on doing the roadmap, and, you know, let the chips fall where they may, in the same, you know, sense that I was able to convey this idea. If you know that, you know, Weird Science is one of my all-time favorite movies, you know, yeah, there's some problematic stuff in there, but maybe if you heard why it was important to me, you'd have another take on it. Because, like I said, that's at the heart of it. All of it is, you don't want to feel like the progress that you've made as a human being is being thwarted by someone else, and you don't want to be taken advantage of, and you don't want someone to lie and misrepresent themselves. That's why Ellen and, you know, like, there's so many people that are just getting checked, basically, and they're like, hey, don't lie. You know, if you're honest about it, if you're honest about who you are, then, you know, then that's that. But you can't come off as one way just to make money and then be totally different. That's, I think, where most people really truly are offended, is that they feel like they've been duped, and that you meant something to them, and you were just taking advantage of me. Like, that's fucked up, you know. So yeah. So hopefully this was a good little thought-provoking little on a Friday afternoon. Well, it's probably gonna be Saturday by the time this is uploaded, but yeah. So thank you for joining me, and as always, this has been fun. It's, like I said, episode 2 of Faux Pods with Lola, and I hope you do the thing and the other thing, and get the little bell thing, and then the thing with the and and we'll make a go of it. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time, and yeah, catch you on the flip flop.